In the 90s, he was one of the world's strongest men, placing as a finalist for the World's Strongest Man competitions in 1994 and 1995.
Oh, here we go.
And at one point, he was also known as a Samoan prince.
I
want to start at the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
Well, I grew up in the beautiful place of Kalihi, specifically in Kuhia Park Terrace, and went to Doe Intermediate School, then ended up right down the street here at University High School.
Yeah. And then after you got into sports, you were recruited by the UH football team, where you had a stellar 4-year career. What were your fondest memories of that time?
Well, back then, we used to have 50,000 people in the stadium.
Oh, wow.
we used to pack the stadium out, and just running out of the stadium tunnel with the band playing Hawaii Five-O, I'll never forget that. Just being able to see my family and friends and to be able to play in front of them and just experience the energy of the crowd, especially when we did well. And I'll never forget those moments. I still hear the loud crowd cheering and all the confetti being tossed around in the stadium. So never forget the great atmosphere that we used to play with.
And then you were recruited into the NFL, right?
Yeah. After having a career with the University of Hawaii, my childhood dream was to play for the Dallas Cowboys. And so to be able to even get drafted by the team that you dreamed to play, because when you're a football player, you just want to be drafted by any team. But to be drafted by the team that you always envision yourself wearing their jersey and playing for their team, it was a dream come true for me.
But then in your first season, you suffered a serious neck injury, which forced you into early retirement. Many other athletes would have been devastated by that, but then you found a way to bounce back. What was your motivation, and how did you find that strength?
I did bounce back, but it took several years. I think I cried for 2 years because it was such a passion of mine and a dream of mine to play in the NFL. That was devastating for me, and it took me a couple years to really, dream again and believe that there was actually something else out there for me to do.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. And then could you tell us about what was your next step after the NFL?
I was always, even as a football player and as an athlete, I was always the guy on the forefront, leading the team, communicating with the team, motivating the team. And so when I got into ministry and began to really practice my faith as a Christian, I noticed that I was able to influence people even in the Christian community. And so that's where some of my mentors began to say, hey, Joe, perhaps being a pastor or a minister will be something that you would consider doing.
Yeah, and in your book, you talk about finding your purpose and how each and every one of us has our own purpose. Do you think that you found your purpose?
My desire is to help people to discover, develop, and release their God-given purpose. And everything that I do in my life is all summed up in that one statement.
Thank you for sharing your stories with us, Joe, and thank you for joining us on UHMTV.
Thank you.